Y'all seeing me? I can't see myself. Let's see. See if we have anybody even watching. Oh, there I am. Okay. Cool. Bunch of zeros here. Nobody wants the Q&A. That's fine. I'll just answer my own questions. Nick, where were you born? Connecticut. All right. Any other questions? We got one person. Hello. Welcome in. Thanks for watching the stream. Got a few handful here. Yeah, there we go. Good deal. I've got my mic set up. I got this little backup mic prepared too. So let me know if I get growly. I still haven't figured out what to do besides, just like buying a brand new computer, which I don't really want to do. Yeah, drop a note, say hi, say what's up, and if I start getting growly, just let me know. My mic starts going out. I've got the other one plugged in and ready to go, so hopefully we can roll with that one without having to lose the feed and all that crap that happened last time. So I'm just getting this little thing ready. But y'all hear me okay with this microphone in front of me? Yeah? Maybe? Somewhat? No one wants to leave a comment today. That's okay. That's okay. You know me, I like talking to myself, so I'll do that if I need to. Yes, what do you want? Balake. All right. Anyway, sup, Randallwood? We need a conversation, sir. There's things to talk about. Loud and clear, says Lynn. Good morning. Good to see you. We'll give it a few minutes here, but yeah, we're going to do, as long as it takes. Maybe it won't be very long if no one has any questions. If I've done such a sufficient job explaining everything about how to be an author. No, I'm hoping that y'all have some good questions, maybe some softballs that I can answer easily, or some hardballs that I might have to think about a little bit. But yeah, the goal is every few months I'd like to do these because I don't want to have to prepare. No, that's part of it. Honestly, I'm busy and I didn't want to prepare anything. But really, it's we've covered a lot of stuff. And if you've been coming to these live streams and you're an author, send whatever, there are things that I might want to clarify that I'm not sure what you're where you are on that. So prepare those questions, and if you got them, drop them in the comments. I'll see them. I can see 4 at a time. Thanks, Facebook. If you're watching me anywhere else, thank you. You're in the wrong place. If we're on YouTube, I appreciate you being there. I'm over on Facebook right now. So if you leave a question or something on YouTube, I won't be able to get to it live. It's not the way it works. I can't see it. But that's okay because you're here anyway. And if you are in the Facebook group, you drop me a comment down here. So the last few we talked about, I'll wait to get started a little bit actually. What's coming up for me? Let's see. I am pretty close to getting to a point where I can announce, I'll tell you guys because I love you, but like more broadly announce this hosting platform I've been putting together for websites. So authors need websites, and I've built a bunch of websites. I've hosted websites for about 20 years. And I also am an author, obviously, with a website. And I've come to learn that I believe WordPress is the way to go because it's fully customizable. You are not locked into a platform like Shopify or Amazon or BookBub or whatever. I believe WordPress is it, and it powers something like 30% of the web. So it's not just me saying that it's the best platform. It truly is, and the reason I like it is it's customizable by you as an author, very, very simply. Or if you want to go all out and have like a real professional website, you can also hire someone to customize it, and there's no limitation to it, right? So I'm setting that up. I'm setting up managed WordPress hosting. What that means is you bring your website. Later on down the road, I might have a solution for us to build a website. But basically, I've set up a hosting platform where you can bring your website over, and I will manage it for you. I'll manage all the hosting for you. What that means is we're going to make sure that it's fast, blazing fast, for real though, not like other managed WordPress websites where they kind of throttle the bandwidth. You'll have no limitations to bandwidth. People visiting your site isn't going to crash the site. Storage space is totally reasonable. Obviously, you can scale that up or down depending on what you need or don't need. And we're going to handle security. So, because WordPress is so popular, it's like the Windows PC of website platforms. It's attractive for bots and malware injections and things like that. And so we're going to secure that fully, daily checkups, daily backups, all that kind of stuff. Robin asked if there's going to be someone to do all the SSL DMARC. Yeah, SSL will be free. You'll get a free SSL certificate. So HTTPS, whatever your website is. You can bring over your domain to us as well. We're a full registered domain registrar. So rather than have it in Bluehost or GoDaddy or wherever you register that domain, you can transfer it to us and we'll handle everything. Or you can keep it and we'll just give you the records you need to do what you need to do. Right. So this is not shared hosting. This won't be like your $3 a month, $5 a month hosting. We're probably going to be around the $10 to $15 range per month. But again, you won't have to think about any of this stuff. You just bring your website over and it's going to be hosted on pretty much the fastest platform ever because we have nobody on it right now. So I hope that if you don't understand why we can't do $5 websites, go do some research on shared hosting and versus dedicated hosting versus managed hosting, which is what we're talking about. So there's these tiers of it all, right? Okay, so 10:08. Yeah, welcome in everyone. Jeff has a question, and I want to answer that one. I'll read it out loud while it's here in front of me, and then I haven't read it yet, so we'll see what he says. First question: I'm working on a 5-book fantasy fiction series. I plan on rapid release, hopefully next spring. The idea I've played with is a QR code on the bottom of certain pages, maybe 5 to 10 in a book, that would connect to video content. For instance, there is an epic mountain range in Alaska. I picture my character climbing over in the fictitious world. I'm taking a helicopter up this weekend to film it. That's pretty awesome. Curious if you think this is a good idea for added marketing and book content. So generally speaking, yeah, absolutely. That's a cool idea. Could be really, really, really helpful to get some extra engagement in with your readership. Questions I would have. I have not tested this. I've put links in my books before, but they weren't to enhance the story. In my fiction, they were to send people to a website to sign up for my mailing list. So they were more interrupty, right? If that makes sense. So my question is, first of all, will Amazon allow that? I don't know that they'll allow QR codes in a book. They might, but that would be something to check. Because typical Amazon move would be to not say anything about it, but it's somewhere deep in their terms of service, and you do it, and then they just blow up your account and ban you or something because they think you're spamming. So check that kind of stuff. I don't know the answer to that question, Jeff. That'd be my big one. Amazon et al. Right? So Barnes and Noble, Drafted Digital. I don't think we care, but whatever it is, make sure that you can actually drop a QR code in the text. What they'll do is if they don't like it, they'll come back and say, best case scenario, they'll catch it and say, this is low quality content. It doesn't enhance the reader experience or some kind of verbiage like that. But check with them. Otherwise, I think it's a cool idea. Especially if you say, hey, this is what I'm doing throughout the book. You're going to see these QR codes. They're not going to take you to some, 4chan website. Like it's going to enhance the reader experience, whatever. Totally cool. That's pretty sweet. Matt, I hope that helps, Jeff. Yeah, feel free to ask a follow-up. It's probably pretty light in here as far as questions go. But back to the hosting platform. So Matt asked, how about SEO management? Yeah, so I did SEO for a big multi-million-dollar firm back in the day. Here's the deal with SEO. It's a game, but it's not the kind of game that you can game anymore. What I mean is, yes, there are things that you need to be paying attention to in terms of keywords and making long tail keywords, generally making your content sound human, but you can't stuff keywords into a website like you used to be able to and rank high in Google. Google's algorithm, their AI platform essentially, has gotten to the point where it's good enough. It can tell, hey, are you trying to game the system? Are you actually gaming the system? Or are you just a human trying to rank higher for terms because your website is about those things? We want that last part. So you can still use SEO for that. What we do is with AuthorHost, what I've set up is if you ask us to install WordPress or even bring your own WordPress over there, we're going to install Yoast SEO, which I've used the free version of for many, many years. It's great. It gives you a kind of a quick rundown percentage thing. This is a free plugin though, so you could just do this right now. this is free advice, right? Go get the Yoast plugin on your WordPress site, and it's gonna go through. You go through all your content, and it's gonna tell you here's the what's it called, the grade, the score of that page, and recommendations it has, things like that. And then you can pay them. You can pay Yoast. It's a great company. They do really good work. You can actually pay a premium license if you want and get a little bit more data. And ideally you'd rank a little bit higher using that data. But I have found, especially for fiction authors, it's not really readers aren't really searching for stuff that we're creating in terms of like blog content. They're searching for our books. And if you have your books on your website, WordPress already does a really great job at making those SEO friendly, putting in alt tags, things like that. So yes and no, Matt. We don't do any like management in terms of looking at keywords, watching ranks over time. That would be an entirely different service that I could do probably, but I don't want to at this point. You'd be best off if you're really looking to get into that. You might look up SEO management and make sure they're not a scam kind of firm, because there's a lot of those out there. And but truthfully, I don't think that that's valuable as much as just making sure you have a website that is dynamic, so it's not static. It's not built on HTML as the platform as the base. So something like PHP, something a little bit faster, dynamic, alt tags, keywords, that kind of stuff. I'm kind of talking around SEO, but let me just back up because this is important for everybody. Search engine optimization is all about telling I say Google just like I say Amazon. So any search engine, but Google, telling Google that, hey, I've got content that your people searching want to see. It's marketing 101. It's like you create something that people will like, and then you show it to them. That's what you're trying to do with SEO. When I say game the system, typically people will be like, well, I'm gonna SEO and spam and get this insurance company I'm working for at the top of the listing. It's not the most relevant search for people. It's just the one that has the best SEO game. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about getting your books, your name to show up on Google on the top. And I don't think there's a lot that you need to do, because your name as an author is going to show up first most of the time, unless there's 85 Matt Novotny's. Probably not though. So I hope that makes sense. Let me check. Randall has a question here. Had a good convo with some writers recently. We were discussing the natural progression of the indie author in 2024. Came up with, in order, Amazon KU, print, wide aggregators, audio, and then direct sales as the natural progression. So to be clear, I think what you're saying is you start by releasing on Amazon/Kindle Unlimited as an ebook. Then you go print, and then you would go wide. Is that what you're saying? And then you would look at audio and then direct sales as a new natural progression. Or are you saying this isn't per book, right? This was, that's my question, Robin. Why would I start in KU if I'm going to go wide? So what do you mean? Give me a little bit of clarity there. And okay, now your question's gone. God dang it, Facebook. It's so frustrating. Yes. What do you mean by yeah? Do you mean every book starts in, because that's not, if I'm going wide, why would I start with KU? I don't understand what you're saying. Generally as an author, as a career, I think that's maybe what you're talking about. That would make more sense. Like you kind of come into Amazon and you go, I'll try this thing out. And you end up being exclusive for a while. This is the way I did it. And then after a few years of that, I would start looking at going wide. So anyway, there was a question, I think Jeff asked a follow-up. Can you drop that in again? Because I lost it. Everybody started bombarding and I only see the last 4. New author getting into this, learning their way up. I think, I would agree. Like generally speaking, you want to focus on the format that's fastest to produce and fastest to profit, which I would always say is ebook. You're just going to have better luck with an ebook generally compared to trying to get paperbacks to move or to get audio to land. Although audio's moving, audio's really coming in its own as a format. People are going to audio only. People are loving all the different options. Like I know with Find Away crap happening, but Spotify's still a great option for readers, for listeners. But again, you have to write the content before you can produce the audiobook. So I always think ebook would be first. So as an author, generally, indie, you get into this maybe day one, you're probably going to be looking at Amazon/KU exclusivity. But if it's your first book, you've never done this before, you don't even know what those terms mean. You're just going to go to Amazon KDP. You're probably going to check that box because I get a better percentage, right? So Dave says some are releasing basic, 90 days in Kindle Unlimited, then you go wide, and then maybe add audio. Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. I do think direct is becoming. We're kind of shooping that up closer to the beginning, if that makes sense. It's been this is what I'm trying to do with the hosting platform, right? It's like, hey, you need a website. At some point, you're going to want one. Why not just get one built by professionals and managed by professionals so it's super fast, and anybody who does want to buy your book can do it right now directly. Um, rather start with a Kickstarter. Joanna Pin said that's the way to go. Well, I mean, hey, if she said it, then it must be true. Look, I mean, Kickstarter is a whole different. It's a whole different business model, right? It's like Patty Finn just said this the other day. I don't know if he's here, but he's talking about Kickstarter not being like a profit center business model, but it's more like a seed loan in a sense, and that's a wholly different model than what I'm doing in KU. I would never start with a Kickstarter for a book series because that's not my business model. That doesn't mean Kickstarter's bad. It's a whole different thing. But hey, I love arguing with Joanna Pin, so I do it all the time. Jeff, what's your opinion? Release 5 books one after another, 1 month apart, or release the first book now, then the second book soon. It's in edit mode, then release the other books as I get them done. Important to note, I work full time in another career, so I can get a book out once every 4 to 6 months. So if this were maybe 2, 3, certainly 4, 5, 6 years ago, I would say do the former option. Release 5 books 1 month apart. So wait till they're mostly done, because you would back then get a much better sticky spike, which is what I call, you have a spike, but then it doesn't go just back down all the way. It kind of gets sticky for longer. Amazon used to kind of what's the right word, reward the rapid release model a lot more than they do now. It's not to say they don't. It's not to say they don't like new content, because they always do. But I do think that sticky spike is not happening as much. And I almost would say, this all depends on the other marketing you're doing around it. So I know that you've got that other career, and you're not going to have a lot of extra time, energy, money, resources, whatever, to throw at these books, I'm assuming. So I would say that maybe the latter option is better. Release one now, or wait a little bit, so you can get them closer together. But then release them as they're finished, and do what you can to promote each one and get them kind of sticky in the store where they're going to live. If you can manage to throw some ads behind it, do that, and see if you can get those to ride until the next book, and then that's going to be a spike for the whole series. Jeff, I don't know if you're in Author Ascend, but we did a whole thing on launch last month in January. We've got some good content there, and I mean, I'm not trying to hide it. It's just it's all, I talked about it for like 3 hours that month. So basically, the launch strategies are what you've said. It's like you can do a fast launch or a slow launch. You can do a fast one, meaning try to get all these things to happen all at one kind of singular point in time, or spread them out and do more of a slow launch. And the latter is what I always choose. So kind of what you're saying is what I would do. The second one, the once every 4 to 6 months at best. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's again, it all depends on what you're doing around that, outside of that. We're at the point now where Amazon does like fresh content, meaning recent, but it's certainly not as important as it used to be. This is SEO 101 too, guys. I mean, this is back in when I got started in SEO, it was 2005, 2004, and I was paying attention to this stuff, and Google was rewarding recent content. They had a recency bias, much more than they do now. Now they want they have a quality bias, and just like Amazon, they want to know that the book is good, the content is good. They want to know that people are visiting it, that it's actually helpful, and their algorithm has been trained over, in internet speak, millennia of data, on how to do that, how to sift through and decide, oh, this page is good, this page is not good. Yeah, a lot of traffic comes here, but the bounce rate's really high, so people aren't actually reading it. It knows that, and so over recency now, it looks at quality. And I think Amazon's the same way. It's also a search engine, and so just because you've got a book every month doesn't necessarily mean people like it, click it, buy it, read it. Amazon knows all that data, and so I would focus on getting the books to be as good as possible. Take a little bit extra time to shore them up, if you've got time in between, like you will with the latter option, and then throw a little bit of marketing juice at them whenever you release a new one. So second option all day. That's what I'd say. Cool. Oh, you're in Belize sailing. Sounds like a tough month, man. Sorry I had to go through that. I was here in Colorado snowboarding, actually skiing. I don't snowboard. Sledding. That's what I was thinking of. Sledding with the kids. All right, get some comments in there. Yeah, Robin said she'd rather start with a Kickstarter. That's what we were talking about earlier. I didn't mean to poop on you or Joe Penn. I love Joe. I mean, but it's a different. It's like saying, well, what makes more money is starting a gas station. It's well, yeah, okay, fine. That's a whole different thing. We're talking about launching a book, and I don't think launching a book on Kickstarter is the same business model, same purpose. I think Kickstarter model works really well for that kind of seed loan. Hey, people in the world, do you want me to do this thing? Do you want me to bring this project to life? And then you get that capital in, and you can manage, how much extra you want to do around that book. But you still haven't launched a book on Amazon, on the platforms where most people will be reading it, right? So Kickstarter isn't going to. It's like maybe an extra way to get in some seed capital early, but it's not the same as launching it and then having readers give you pages KE and P, over the. You know what I'm trying to say? Anyway, I hope it makes sense. Nothing wrong with Kickstarter. It's just a whole different. It's a whole different thing, whole different ball game. All right, what else? Anything else? You got questions? I got some emails. Who you guys sending me email? Surely you wouldn't do that. You know how I hate email. Nope. Nope. Spam. Nope. Go away. That's not spam. All right, answer it later. Perfect. Cool. Like I said, not about more money. Just like the idea of starting off with a gorgeous edition, paying off the editor from the start. Yeah, but again, that you still have to take that book and launch it on Amazon. Like you can't just let's say you have a successful Kickstarter. You made $15,000. You paid for everything. Now you have this book produced. Then what? Like you've got those people who arguably may read the book, may not. But that's it. That's your universe of readers now. You don't have any of that set up established elsewhere. And so when we're talking about like launching a book, I wouldn't consider Kickstarter like a way to do that. You're funding the production of a product, yes, but your book's not in libraries. Nobody's heard of your name. No one's. It's not on Amazon, so you still have to do all that stuff as well. So it's almost like just adding more work to launching a book the traditional way or the traditional indie way. But yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, it's a whole different business model, and it does work well if you've done Kickstarters and know what you're doing. I haven't, and so I'm kind of scared of Kickstarter, but you and I are talking offline about that anyway. Especially for nonfiction, and Joe, she's been doing a lot of nonfiction over there as well. I think Kickstarter works really well for that kind of thing. Fiction, I mean, my genre, I don't see a lot of successful books in my genre. I simply don't see action adventure thrillers being, there's not a big crowd in Kickstarter of funding that. And that's part of the problem, right? Like Kickstarter, you're dealing with another platform that has its own expectations and genre expectations, readers, things like that, just like Amazon does. If I say I write erotic historical romance, you know what to expect. And there are readers who want that, and there's readers who don't. And there may be a lot of them, there may not be a lot of them. Kickstarter is the exact same. If you've got, a game you're trying to launch, like a Scythe type thing, or you've got a lit RPG does well because this is kind of the people that are there. So yeah, good way to put it. It's a chunk of the thriller world that's not well represented on Kickstarter. That's exactly what it is. And that's the problem I've had with it is, man, I could go over there and just rely on Kickstarter's efforts. And I don't know that I'd get a lot of traction. I think it requires me to bring in my 100,000 person mailing list. And at that point, why would I use Kickstarter? I'll just do it myself. I'll just have them buy it direct for me on my website if I'm trying to launch it that way. So yeah, Randall said the KU for 3 months and then going wide strategy was pretty popular. There was a time when Drafted Digital really didn't like that. And I never understood why. But Kevin Tomlinson told me that, before I worked there, he was like, yeah, we hate that. I don't know. It seems like it's pretty easy. You just check a button and, go wide or exclusive. But, I mean, if it's a strategy that works, do it. I wouldn't worry about, you're making more work for the company that you're literally paying to do that. Who cares? Jeff said, first two books I wrote, I received high but very few ratings. People loved them, but no one seemed to find them. Yeah, that's the issue. You got access to capital, but I'm completely lost when it comes to marketing. Do you know of any good and reputable to throw money at? No, I don't. And I wouldn't recommend it. I don't. I mean, obviously, I'm a marketing guy, and I'm telling you, don't throw money at me or anybody else because we don't care about your book as much as you do. The goal with Book Career in a Year, Jeff, is not to take money from people and market their books. Like you'll notice there's no way to do that. I don't have any promo lists. I don't have any marketing, ad campaign services or anything like that. Um, the reason is I want you to learn to do this stuff. I know you hate it, but marketing is just creating something that you know people will like and then showing it to them. That's it. And if you've taken all the time to write these books, you can take a little bit more time and market in a way that doesn't make you feel terrible or doesn't make you hate it. Usually, people say I hate marketing, and I'm not trying to argue with you at all. I'm sure you do hate marketing, but just to clarify, like usually when we authors say I hate marketing, there's a specific thing about it we hate. There's, oh, I hate data analysis, or I hate social media, or I hate setting up ad campaigns and iterating. Each of those things is something that you could potentially outsource to somebody else. Yes. But I wouldn't recommend doing it until you've done it enough to be not a master level, but an expert in that. You need to know the dashboard, Facebook dashboard. You need to know the data. You don't have to be the person looking at the data for an hour a day. Frankly, that's more than I would even look at it. But you need to know it well enough to be able to hand it off to a VA or someone on Fiverr or some cheap person who can do it well enough, because otherwise you won't know if it's going to work or not. The bottom line is no one cares about your book as much as you do. And it sounds like you had a marketing problem. You received high but very few ratings. People love them. No one's be able to find them. Yeah, simply speaking, there's probably a lot of marketing, avenues we could go down. Like, hey, have you, obviously my big three, have you done social media? Have you done advertising? Have you done email marketing? And if the answer is like, yeah, kind of, like, okay, well, yeah, you can probably, I'm almost positive you can do more in those three categories. But before you do that, you got to look at the book package, right? Is this book that received very high ratings, people loved it but couldn't find it, probably means you weren't clear about the genre that it's in, the subcategory of that genre even. And you probably didn't have a really good one line, this book is like this meets this. So my series is Indiana Jones meets National Treasure, right? That gives you the idea that it's, actiony, maybe pulpy, probably modern day, or set in a world that we know. That kind of stuff is really helpful when it comes to marketing, specifically putting it in a genre, right? So you can say then, okay, well, where is Indiana Jones in the Amazon bookstore? That's where my book needs to be. Where is National Treasure as a movie? Is there a book category that's related enough where that would show up? Or the novelization of that movie, for example. That's the first thing you can try. And then, start looking at things like the cover. Once you're in one of those categories and you look at the top 100, you scroll through, what are you seeing? Is your cover enough like those covers that readers are going to go, yeah, okay, this is great. I expect to get the book that I want to read. Let me click through and then I'll read the description and then I'll buy it. No one's going to look at your cover and go, wow, that's the most beautiful piece of artwork I've ever seen. Let me just buy it sight unseen. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to make sure that your book lines up to their expectation, what they want to read. They're in the mystery, thriller, suspense category, psychological or women's fiction. So they're going to go, okay, cool. Does this cover look like it matches that genre? They don't know they're doing that. This is all psychological, right? This is all subconscious, but they're doing that. And they're going to click over and they're going to look at your book and they're going to go, great, cool. The cover lines up with what I expect in this genre. Now let me read the description. And if that still says, okay, yeah, this is great. This sounds like a cool story. I'm intrigued. Then they'll buy it, right? It's not about the ratings. They want to see some, but that's it. They're just going to look at the cover and they're going to look at the description. And if those line up with their expectation and they're in that category that you're in as well, then they'll buy it. Now, once you've set that up and you know that stuff is just on and you right genre, right cover, good description, then you start looking at these marketing activities. How do you get more eyeballs to your book? Well, social media, advertising, email marketing. Build that list, send them to that page. Start posting about your book on social media platforms every single day, send them to that page. Do email or do advertising. Get a Facebook ad going, $5 a day, send them directly to that page. That's it. Then that's going to tell you pretty quickly, like, okay, my conversion rate, I send 20 people here and one person buys it. That's in line with, our expectations as indies. So now we need to ramp up the Facebook ad spend. That's it. I know it sounds like I'm oversimplifying, and maybe I am, but that's really it. Like, you don't need to worry about, well, I got to do this particular campaign and Facebook wants me to talk to their ads expert or whatever on the phone. Don't do any of that BS. Just go set up a simple ad with simple copy. Don't even target. Just say, tell people what it is in that text field and send them to Amazon. And then watch that conversion rate. If you're sending 20 people there and you get one sale, great. If you're sending 100 people there and you get one sale, okay, that something needs to be improved. And it could be on site, it could be on the page, book cover, description, genre, category, all that. Or, it could be off site, which means it could be something's wrong with your ad, something's wrong with the targeting, your images aren't working or whatever. So anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here because I love talking about that. But I hope that helps, man. Yeah, there's a lot to it. You can certainly talk to me offline. I'm happy to help with this, man. That's what I'm trying to do. You know, I say like we're not a Book Career in a Year is not and will never be a marketing service because I hate those companies. They are ripping people off. They're scamming authors who don't know better. I'm looking at you, Chandler Bolt, self-publishing school. Screw you, man. Like you're ripping people off. $30,000 for a marketing package is fucking bullshit. Sorry for my French. But I am not going to do that. And so I'm not saying that every single agency sucks, but you're going to have to pay them for their time and you're going to have to hope that your ROI from them on a book that they don't care about as much as you do is so far over and above what you've spent that it's like it's a 200% ROI. And we're dealing with books that are $4, $5, $6. I just don't see it working. I've known a lot of agencies and a lot of guys that are good people starting agencies and trying to help people with this, and they truly mean well, and they're not around anymore, and there's a reason for that. So Book Career in a Year is the goal with what I'm trying to do with these live streams is here's the information, here's the content. Let me teach you how to do it because there's no other way. I wish there were. I wish you could come and pay somebody like me. I would love to make $30,000 off everybody in here, but I just can't. I'm not a supervillain, okay? I always joke with my friend, like if we just didn't have any scruples, we'd be like the best supervillains in the world. Because we have the knowledge, we have I can do that. I know how to market books. Anyway, you guys hear what I'm saying. I wish I could help you by just taking the reins and doing it for you, Jeff. Look, if you've got capital and you want to invest in this stuff, take a course. I'm working on a marketing course. Buy the course from me. I will show you how to do that. We'll talk through all that kind of stuff in gratuitous detail. But the point of that course isn't for me to do the work for you. It's for you to understand what you need to do so that you don't have to pay somebody to do it. I hope that makes sense. I hope that doesn't sound salesy, but again, I'm not going to do an agency or service firm or anything like that because it just doesn't work. The economics of it are wrong. Anyway, so yeah, you had a coach, never read, but the first chapter, that's bullshit. I have done coaching before, and when I do coaching, I charge a lot of money, okay, because for me, it's a huge time commitment on my end, and I do think my time is worth something. I'm valuable. I know this stuff. I can coach somebody through it. But my coaching is very different. I will read, if not your entire catalog, if you have 40 books, I can't get through all of them. I'm going to read a lot of your books. I'm going to get to know you as an author. I'm going to get to know you as a writer. But my coaching is expensive, but it's also my objectives. So the first thing a lot of coaches do is, where are you? Where would you like to be? What do you want to do? I don't waste time with any of that. I hate saying it, but it's a 12-step program. It's not that program, but it's 12 steps. It's 12 months essentially, or 12, however long you want to go. And it's very specific 12 sections that are like, we're going to focus on this for the first week or the first month or whatever, however fast you want to go. And I've already defined the objectives and the outcomes that I want you to have as an author because I know them, because I am an author and I went through all of this stuff on my own. And so I organized all that into content where I'm like, here's are the 12 things in order, foundational to advanced. We're going to get through them all. And when you're done, you can come back for more, and I'm happy to walk you through all that stuff. But again, you're going to have the content and the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to go forth and conquer on your own. That's always my goal. So yeah, it's expensive, but it's not, it's like $3,500. It's not like the end of the world or something, right? But I'm not charging $30,000 and then saying, well, you got to keep coming back for more. I'm not going to really actually help you with anything. Sorry. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, you said you had a coach, never read but the first chapter, said your book was a thriller. Haha, yeah. Right, and that's why coaches just want to take money. I hate that. It's definitely romantic suspense. There's elements of a thriller as an antagonist. Look, I just did a 3-hour craft session on thrillers, and I told them this. I still believe this. Thriller's not a genre, guys. It's a style. And yes, Amazon calls it a genre, mystery, thriller, suspense, and you can break that down. Absolutely. If it is a thriller style, you want it to show up in that category, probably. But the point is, you can have a science fiction thriller. You can have a romance thriller. All of these things, the first part is the genre, where people are going to go to find that book. And then they might add that tag of thriller to find the style that they want. I like the style of thrillers because they're fast-paced, or because I get to know the bad guy up front. I don't like the mystery. It scares me. So there's reasons we call thriller a genre, but it's really a style. Anyway, the point is, sorry, got off on the wrong foot. Now I'm changing genres, but somebody... Blah, 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 blah. Better editor and coach and having fun. Yeah. So, okay. Since you keep answering questions, my first two books were fun, great character development, well received, but not my passion. Okay, interesting. So you switch into a genre you love, fantasy fiction. What's your opinion on releasing fantasy under J.T. Hinkle? Well, so this is all just, how successful were you at getting people to read your romantic suspense under Jeff Hinkle versus, trying to get some. Basically, if you've got a whole career and you're pretty well established as one name and you're switching genres like that, you probably want to use a pen name. That said, it's not that hard to set up a pen name, so it might be worth doing just because you're switching genres. I'd probably lean on the side of doing a different pen name just because now you're doing a different genre completely. And even if you didn't have the readership that you wanted under the previous name, start off with a fantasy pen name. And using those initials, that seems to be kind of a fantasy thing, right? J.R.R. Tolkien, George R.R. Martin. So I don't know why we do it, but we do. J.K. Rowling. So J.T. Hinkle, that sounds like a fantasy pen name that might actually benefit you. And then you kind of free up that Jeff Hinkle name for if you ever wanted to go back to something else or write something different, you've got that open up again. I'm actually, don't tell anybody, working on a hockey romance, sweet romance. And I'm probably going to release it under like NT Ryan or NT Thacker or something like that. Or I don't know, but it's going to be my name. I don't want to hide and pretend like I'm a woman or anything, but I'll probably use a pen name for that because I do have an established readership over here on the Nick Thacker side that I'm still going to keep going. Anyway, Robin says fantasy is a setting. Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, I guess that's true, right? Like you can't have if I say this is fantasy and then it's just set on Earth in modern day, society like that, it's not fantasy. Like immediately, it's not fantasy. Is that? I think I would agree. I don't read fantasy, so I don't really know the genre expectations there, but they have them and they're real. So it's important to know that. Randall, thoughts on paid newsletters? Not real. I don't have any thoughts. I've never tried them. I've got some free newsletters. I've got the Fact Stack, which is marketing. I just kind of brag about myself a little bit. That's kind of cool. Like it's a newsletter. It is AI curated and it's personally curated. So if you click on an article on the Fact Stack newsletter you get every Tuesday, the next week you're going to get articles that are more aligned with what you clicked on. Like it changes for you personally. As I just thought that was cool. Nobody seems to know or care. But yeah, I've got a marketing newsletter. It's free, totally free, and it's on book marketing specifically. Yeah, I guess. Can you clarify your thought again? Thoughts on paid newsletter? Because then Robin said you've used BookBub though. Is that what are you talking about? Do you mean like Substack where people pay me for my newsletter, or what are you talking about? Do you mean BookBub where it's a paid promotional tool? Because I do use BookBub and I like those. I don't know. Two different things here. I guess I was talking about one and maybe you're talking about the other. Give me clarity, man. Gotta get that clarity. Sweet, sweet clarity. Lynn likes getting the Fact Stack news. She's the one person subscribed. No, there's a few hundred people subscribed to it. I haven't done any marketing, so I guess it's fair that my book marketing newsletter didn't get marketed well, and that's why it's not very big. But yeah, coming up to Alaska, Jeff. I'd love to. I'd love to get up there. Yeah, I put Ben's cabin kind of in the Chugach region, right? The Chugach Mountains, or that's a area, right? It's not. I guess there's a city called Chugach, I think, but I don't know. I had a guy. He's still around. He lives up there, and he's always given me crap, for lack of a better word, on getting it right. I wrote Alaska originally like a Texas guy, right? Like I'm like, all right, Alaska's just it's this big snowy mountain. The whole thing. There's no people there. It's all just snow. There's a bunch of those guys running the Iditarod with a bunch of dogs. That I had to do some research when I first wrote that up there. But oh, you do a Chugach, okay. Is that how you say it? Chugach or is it Chugach? I thought it was Chugach. Anyway, maybe that I don't know. It's one of those Inuit or some words, right? Eskimo. But it's one of the indigenous tribes there, right? The Chugach. Yeah, I set Harvey's cabin kind of there, and it's the Highway 1 that goes on the coast. Can't remember the name of that, but yeah. So I drawn a blank for the geography now, but I do have. At one point, I had a map where I was like, "That's where his cabin is," and so I was trying to make sure all the places were right. Oh, that's right. Okay, so the Chugach Mountains, Chugach, the town. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Randall disappeared, so no clarity from him, I guess, but that's fine. I'll answer both. BookBub is awesome. I use BookBub probably every 3 months. Not probably. For the last 5 years, I've had a BookBub every 3 months, a featured deal. It works great. It's an awesome. But it's a system. You have to submit all the time. So yeah, those paid newsletters are great. BookBub's the best one. Written Word Media has a handful that are really good, and Fussy Librarian I've used as well. And I just promo stack. This is part of the launch thing, Jeff. We were talking about last month in Author Ascend. For the fast launch, like you want to stack up all these promos, and and use the I like to use the smallest ones first. So BookBub obviously would be the last promo I do, because then you're ramping up your sales every day until bam, you get that big spike. The other side. So Randall asked about, so not even what I was talking about, not a paid newsletter like where, your Medium or Substack, where it's one-to-many communication and people pay, to get it. Newsletters like the kind you swap versus the kind you can buy. I don't pay for any newsletter swaps. No, I'm not saying that they're all lack of value and they're not all not worth it, but I just haven't needed it. I've always had luck with, or especially early on, doing free newsletter swaps with guys in my genre. Yeah. So I don't know. Oh, hey, cool, Jeff. Sorry, I was reading your comment there. I don't remember my wife and I don't. I mean, if I saw your face, and I'd be like, "Yep, I remember you." I'm so bad with putting names together. So this is funny. I told somebody the other day I was at the brewery working, and they're like, "Hey, we met you last year," and I was like, "Look, I'm sorry. I am getting better every year at putting a face to the name and remembering it. But then every year, my memory in general just gets worse. So I stay the same. Like I haven't improved at all over the past 10 years. But yes, I remember meeting you. I think I just don't remember your face. I'll have to click your profile and make sure I know who you are. You probably ring a bell right away. Up in Alaska, you got a separate living quarters connected to the home, kind of an Airbnb. That's pretty sweet. That's awesome. Well, I would love to. I'll have to get maybe we get the kids up there. I don't know if you like kids. They'd love to see it too, I'm sure. Robin, Written Word Media I heard about the promo stack tool. Haven't used it myself. Haven't had a reason to. I haven't run any promos like that yet since they launched it. But I like Written Word Media. I'm good friends with Clayton and some of the other guys there, and they do a good job. I mean, they're authors, kind of first and foremost. They're trying to help rather than trying to extract money from the indie community, which is always my. Even if people are good-hearted behind what they're doing, if that's their goal, like I'm just gonna make money off of authors, then I don't like them. And Written Word Media is not that. They're really good. Roland is sorry to hear I have prosopagnosia. It's okay. He's give him grace, guys. He's trying to make up words. He's a writer, so he gets to do that. We'll let him do that. We'll let him pretend that's real. So, anyway, no, it's not face blindness. I recognize the face. I just can't put the face to the name, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is, but whatever. All right. Any other questions? It's coming up on 10:45, so not too bad. We actually made it through. Because I ramble. I apologize, but that's what I do. And there's a smaller handful of people here this morning. But that's cool. Sounds like my microphone was working, or nobody told me an hour ago, and it's just been crackling the whole time. But yeah, hopefully that's coming in loud and clear. And I'll wait a couple minutes. Awkward silence. And if no one has any other questions, we'll just cut this off early. Click around, check some emails while 3 more emails came in. Story of my life. Oh, Starbucks. Thank you, Starbucks. I really wanted to know that sharing feels good. I don't even know who you are. Spam. All day long. Aren't you glad Google and Yahoo told us how to email and change the game and unilaterally made decisions on our behalf? And then spam emails didn't go down. I still get the exact same amount every morning. Who would win in a fight, Harvey Bennett or Talia Colt? Probably. I wish I had a button that could just cut the feed off. Oh, it would be, and then never tell you who cuts my hair. Her name's Kaya. She runs a little barbershop here in town. Free beer, which is pretty much the only reason I ever get my hair cut. So I was actually thinking about going there today. I might need to. I'm gonna get some beer. Oh, cool. The weight rack that I'm trying to buy on Facebook Marketplace. He said he could take $50 for. Perfect. See, look, guys, I'm multitasking. You thought it couldn't be done. You thought it wasn't real. Do you guys see what Roland got me? I'll show you this real quick before we cut this off. Best gift ever. Make sure I had pants on. So we were in Vegas, and this is the very first 20 Books conference. We made the joke, I'm going to make old man strength whiskey. And it's just been a kind of a running gag for years. And I showed up at the Superstars conference where my buddy Denzel was there, and this ended up on my table. Best gift I've ever gotten. Honestly, this is really funny. And the government warning on the back, it says, according to the Surgeon General, authors should not drink alcohol when writing, as the myth that one can write drunk and edit sober is just that, a myth. Side effects include pitching agents your unique idea, in quotes, missing your morning panel, and untimely extroversion. Pretty freaking sweet. Good job, Roland Denzel. This is incredible. So I put it on my like little whiskey cabinet shelf back there. Freaking love that. Oh man. Yeah, what Google and Yahoo didn't tell you is that they aren't starting the crackdown until March, and then just ramping up enforcement. Well, yeah, right. They're probably not going to do a sweeping crackdown right away because their own system would explode, and that would be stupid. And they're not even really going to do anything on the sub 5,000 people part until like June, I think. And that's only Google. Yahoo didn't even give a number, so it's a cluster. I mean, it's a whole mess. And I wish it didn't happen because I don't like companies unilaterally telling us how we can do things like email. I mean, Google didn't even get into the email game until later, right? With Gmail, and I hate Gmail. It's the worst platform I've ever seen in my life, and so I'm just mad all around. But whatever, we want to send email to people, and a lot of people use Gmail accounts, so we got to follow their rules. But I just was so frustrated. I was like, oh yeah, cool. So they didn't prevent any spammers because all the spammers just went and authenticated their domains. Didn't cost any money for them to send spam. They just now they're verified, so they can end up in the inbox instead of promotions tab. Stupid. All right, we made it another 3 minutes. The one-click unsubscribe. Yeah, that's June 1st. The one-click unsubscribe. So I coded that in author email. I mean, it was like 4 or 5 months ago. So if you're using an author email account, that's already done for you. It's every email you send is going to have that UID, which is or the one-click unsubscribe in the header, which is what Google wants. So I've verified that to be working, and actually that was 2 of the emails I just got was people clicking those links, and it comes right back to me, of course, because I care, that's the way to do it. Yeah, we'll see what happens in June, I guess, Roland, right? I mean, frankly, I think nothing's gonna happen, but we'll see. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Any last minute questions? Randall asked if they have free beer in South Park. What was that? I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to. I've been messing with you all day, Randall. Oh well, you love me. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm gonna cut this off, and we will see you not next week. Yeah, that's right. Let me talk about that. Not next week, because I am on a ski trip for 4 days. What we'll do is Author Ascend. We'll catch up the next week. It'll be the first week of March. And then we'll probably do the 3rd week or the 2nd week of March, another Author Ascend. So it'll be 2 in a row since we didn't get one in February. Yep, Jeff, go, don't lose your job. That would be bad. Yeah, hit me up. I'd love to talk more about that. Obviously, if you're interested in the coaching thing, that's the route that you think will be helpful for you. I do have what I think is a fantastic program that really does dig into this stuff. And that might be worth your time and money. So let me know. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. We can talk about that. All right, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one. And we will see you when we see you. I'm trying to cut the feed.